You know, one of the biggest mistakes that all men make with women, with approaching women and building relationships and dating is not being honest with women, not being themselves, not communicating. And a lot of guys will say things like, how do I approach a woman on the street versus how do I approach a woman in the coffee shop? How would I approach a woman in a nightclub? How would I approach a woman in a party? How would I approach a woman with a group of friends? Or, you know, how would I approach a woman at a speed dating event? Or how would I approach a woman online? What I realized through my experience with going from a guy who had anxiety, I was very shy, I didn't have confidence with women, to transforming over the years and being successful with women, having successful relationships and being able to speak to women pretty much anywhere is, it comes down to these things, and I'm going to explain them, explain how you learn them and how you can do this. The first one is, well, it's in no chronological order, right? So it doesn't have to be exact order. The first one is confidence. The reason why most guys struggle in these situations and it doesn't go well, or they can't get past overthinking, they just get paralyzed, they can't do it, is because they don't have confidence. They don't believe in themselves. They don't have the experience. So when they try and do it, they can't get anywhere. Or when they speak to a woman, they come off insecure, they come off arrogant, they come off rude, they come off impatient. And women are, like most people, especially in these situations, and women have told me this and I've learned, I spoke to hundreds of women over the years, women are smart, they're very sensitive to man's behaviour. So I would say within the first 30 seconds to a minute of meeting, as soon as they lay eyes on you and you open your mouth, they're going to judge you. They're going to judge you by how you dress, how you come across, but they're going to feel you as well. They're going to feel whether you're sincere. And if they get a feeling that you're not honest and you're hiding something and you're not confident in what you're saying and you're not sincere in what you're telling them, they're not going to trust you straight away. They're not going to be attracted to you, and they're going to reject you. They're going to reject talking to you. So the reason why you see so many guys struggling today, because they've got the wrong outlook on women. They've got the wrong mindset. The wiring's wrong. And a lot of guys that are like this, I find, they listen to other men who have also got bad relationships with women and who are very insecure, and they're not confident, they're not social, they don't know how to connect with women. Like, they don't know how to have let me just be honest, I'm not knocking any of you. I'm just passionate, so I'm just getting out. How many of you actually know how to go up and have a conversation with a woman in any situation? Let's not get silly here, guys. Let's not get tickling and say, on the street. And it doesn't matter once you're confident. I've spoken to women in any situation you can put me in, and I can have a conversation with a woman. I can be confident. I can be myself. I can create a good situation where she feels comfortable. And a big part of that is because I respect women, and a lot of guys, they may say they do, but they don't respect women because they don't respect themselves. And if you don't have much confidence, you're going to feel like that. So it's not about, oh, what is the right line or what is the right thing to say if I see a girl in Starbucks and I like her. It's about, you know, what are the right social skills? Like, it's about you being right. And if you're not right in yourself, it doesn't really matter what you say, it's not going to work on her. So it's about confidence. And I think still, I've explained this over the years, I've got so much experience teaching myself. I've learned, and I do learn a lot from, you know, what women have told me and what they say. And they always usually say the same thing when I ask them, can you tell me why you will reject guys and why some guys you will go out of them? And how do you like being approached? How do you not like being approached? And the common denominator through all this is women don't like it when men are not honest. Now, I think a lot of guys are dishonest. It's not because they're bad. It's not because they're bad guys. It's because they're scared of being hurt. They're afraid of saying, let's say you're in Starbucks and you're getting a coffee and you see a woman that you like, you're attracted to, you find interesting. And let's say you like her physically and you like something about her. And maybe you think, oh, she's really nice. I think she's Italian, and you're really attracted to Italian women. Or, you know, you've got family from Italy, or let's just say that's in your heart, that's what you want to say. But most guys won't go over and say that. They won't just say, hi, excuse me. You know, nice to meet you. I just want to, you look really nice. You look really lovely. Like, are you from Italy? Like, they won't say that. They almost feel like that's too obvious. Like, you can't, but you can say that. And that's where all this I need to say a certain line to impress her, and that's when it goes wrong. As soon as you go down that route that I need to say a certain line to impress a woman, you're done. It's over. I'm sorry, but it's the truth in most cases. It can't come like that. It has to be natural. It has to be sincere. And that's why I think with my teaching, a lot of people struggle with it, because it was like, it's too obvious, it's too honest, it can't work. And then they gravitate towards, you know, guys who teach the stuff where you use tricks, you use lines, and you guys know I'm not for that. I don't like that PUA stuff. It's just not my values, and that didn't work for me. I've had so much success with women by just being myself, being honest, being courageous, being respectful, and of course having social skills. Now, of course, to develop social skills, you've got to go out and you've got to socialise, not just with women, but with people. So what got me really confident with women is I did hours and hours of public speaking. Obviously, I set my business up. I coached men with social anxiety. I educated myself, I made friends, I'd done thousands of YouTube videos, I went on lots of dates, and of course at some point got a girlfriend, had a relationship. So I think that's another factor as well. A lot of guys who maybe have never had a relationship with a woman, they've never had a real intimate relationship, they don't have the awareness, they don't know. So they're going to go by what they think will work, but what actually works is completely different to what you think. So I think, you know, you've got to be open to learning and listening to someone who knows more than you do, who has had success with women when you haven't, and not let that, not let your ego take a dent from that, because it's like, I'm trying to help you to see clearer, to help you with what I know is the truth, with what I've done myself, and what women have told me, and how I've connected with them and helped so many people. But obviously some guys, you just can't get through to them. They don't understand, and they just keep getting rejected. They just keep failing in their relationships with women. So once you're confident, it doesn't matter where it is that you speak to a woman. It's not like, oh, on the street you speak like this. In Starbucks you speak like this. In a nightclub you speak like this. If you go about like that, you're like a clown. You're like someone who just keeps whacking on different masks, social masks. And you're all over the place. You don't know who you are. You're not socially congruent. You're not correct. You're a person who keeps changing, and that's terrible for your self-esteem. You're going to be a miserable man like that, and it's eventually women are gonna see that. So they don't want a perfect man. None of us are perfect, but they want someone who's got confidence. And you can't have confidence without honesty and truth. How could you? It defeats the very definition of the word. To be confident in oneself. And if you're not confident in yourself, then you're always going to be doubting what you're saying. And you're going to be thinking, oh, a woman, oh, she won't like that. But when you're confident in yourself, you don't think like that. And that's the difference between guys who have got better relationship skills with women versus guys who don't. They think different. It's not like one is intrinsically better than the other. It's not like that. I don't see myself as better than anyone or below anyone. But one has a better outlook, a better self-esteem, a better inner confidence, and that's why women respond better to them. And I proved that years ago when all these PUAs and all these different people online who I just knew that it's not honest what they're saying. You know, it's a lot of bullshit, it's just to sell, it's just marketing, or they believe it and they don't want to believe there's another way to do it. So I went out for myself and spoke to women and really listened and learned from women, not just men, not just ignorant people, learned from men who had a good outlook on women. So that was the thing I did, what was smart about me. I didn't take advice from men who had bad relationships with women because I knew they couldn't help me. And I listened to women and men who were good people. And that's how I continue to be a good person myself. So most women, right, most women want a good man, someone with a good heart, who's empathetic, who cares. And if they don't feel that in your interactions, they're going to reject you. And a lot of guys who are in that mindset are dark. They are dark-natured, they are. And when they go up and approach women, wherever it is, it could be on the street, it could be in a speed dating event, it could be at a family gathering, women are like, oh no, because the energy is toxic, because it's coming from a dark place. So if you want to attract beautiful women in your life, and I'm not just talking physically, but emotionally stable women, then you've got to change your ways, you've got to build your confidence, and the process in which you build your confidence socially and get over your anxieties is through the practice of honesty. That practice makes a man of you in the right way, not some insecure, overly man who wants to be alpha and control everything. No, that's weak. A man who women respect and feel comfortable around and feel safe. And that's a process, and you've got to want to do that, and you've got to look at yourself. A lot of men, I understand, but it's like, if it's not working for me, then I don't want to listen to that other man. He's another man, he's a threat, he's my competition. But you ain't going to get nowhere in life like that. Because I do believe at some level, we're all brothers, we're all here to help one another. We shouldn't be like that. And even my faith tells me that. So yeah, I'm not going to waste my time with a guy who's got a crappy attitude and outlook. I won't even coach someone like that. I'll be straight with you. I don't care how much money he's offering me. I won't do it. I don't need the money. I don't need the money that much. So that's why I'm very selective of who I work with and the type of videos that I put out. So I've always been, for me, it's important to have a good outlook on what I do on people and women. So it's just a common denominator. It's clear to see, for me anyway, that the guys who've got this bad attitude on women and resent women, and they resent everybody, they resent themselves. Anyone who's happy, then that's why you're like that. So you've got to change. You have to change your outlook, and you've got to stop being narrow-minded. And if you do that PUA stuff, you'll stay in that place. But obviously that's the choice. I'm not going to knock you for it. I don't agree with it. I don't waste my time. I don't teach people who are in that place. The clients I work with are lovely people, and all my friends are. So that's what differentiates me from that stuff. And I'll say it again for people that they try and put me in that box, and it's like, you're not going to do that. That's not who I am. And that's why my teaching was always different. It was always about honesty. Whether you see me on the street talking to a woman, coffee shop, a family gathering, once you're confident, you've got confidence, you've got confidence and social skills, you can adapt it. But you're still being you. You know, you might adapt your approach, but you don't change who you are as a person. There's still honesty, there's still integrity, and you can't go wrong like that. Because it's all good and well being able to approach women on the street or in a coffee shop or in a nightclub. But if you can't keep a woman, if you can't maintain a relationship, if you want a relationship, and everyone you meet is in your life for 2 minutes and then they walk out on you, you're always going to feel abandoned. You're always going to have abandonment issues. You're never going to have anything steady in your life. And I've found guys that are in this place, they don't just struggle with women, they struggle with everyone. They struggle with male-to-male relationships. They have toxic relationships because they're toxic. So you have to get that toxicity out of you. And once I made this change myself before changing others, I could walk up in a nightclub and speak to a woman and just be myself and get a date, and she would just be lovely to me. It's weird when you go through it, because I understand as a guy, if you're in a bad place, it's like, why is every girl mean to me? Why do women keep giving me bad reactions or rejecting me in clubs? But it's because it's you, it's what you're projecting. But when you change and you're happy and confident, and you have like a good feeling towards women, wherever you are, pretty much they react well. Of course, even when you're confident, yeah, there's always going to be some women that are going to turn you down, but that's just common sense, guys. You know, men and women both get toned down by one another, but you're not getting toned down all the time, 100%, which is what happens to guys who are in that place, in that mindset. And just to ask the question, and there's nothing wrong because you're learning, but the question tells me where you're at. So I don't ask myself that question. My friends, I don't say, well, how do I approach her on the street versus how do I approach her in Starbucks? How do I speak to her in Tesco's? Or how do I speak to a girl online? I don't have to ask those questions, guys, because I have the confidence, I have the social skills, and I don't have that doubt. I don't have to second guess because of experience and knowing what I know and experiencing what I've experienced. But a lot of you do, because you don't have the confidence I've got. I'm sorry, I've just got to be honest. Or some of my students or friends, you don't, and that's why you're struggling. But you could have it if you change your attitude, had more respect for other people, and went about your conversation skills. So yeah, you know, any idiot, any guy can just go up and approach women and talk jargon. But to do it with class, to do it with confidence, and to say something meaningful, that's a whole different level of courage and confidence, which I'm sorry today most men don't have. I see it, I observe, I see what's going on. Many do, and many are learning, thank God, and that's why I put these videos out. And that's why a lot of times when I do my live streams, women come on and they love what I'm saying, they agree with it because of all the things I've said, because it's on point, it's truthful, it stands the test of time. Versus a lot of the other guys, women don't like what they're saying, they don't like them. I'm not surprised. So, you know, it's just about, it's not like, oh, I need to be right, because there's things I'm wrong about. No one's perfect, but it's like, these are values that I was taught, it's part of faith, how I was brought up, and what works, you eventually figure it out if you're keen enough to learn. And I learned through seeing guys do it. I can see when a guy's got it wrong. 5 seconds, spend time with him. I see how he speaks to women. I see the problem straight away, the insecurity, putting on the act, cockiness, making too many jokes, all these unnatural behavior, anything where you can look at it. Even someone who's a layman, even someone young could see that role and go, he's insecure. You can tell. It's just something you can tell. It's not always the particulars. So that energy, and that's the great thing about confidence. It doesn't really matter about your looks, your color, your creed, your background. It's something that everyone can develop. And once you've got it, women are going to be attracted to you guys. And you can speak to them. It doesn't matter. We don't have to get particular. So I think a lot of you need to wake up and being honest. You're small-minded. It's like, I just want to go out on the streets and approach women. But it's like, if it's coming from that place, you're never going to get nowhere probably. I'm being honest. You've got to come from more of a loving, grounded place. You've got to be like a sociable person, someone that doesn't have to just go, I've got to go on the street, I've got to go in a club. It's like, it's desperate. Whereas if you're just down the street, you're enjoying life, you're confident, and you see a woman you like, you can go and speak to her. She's probably going to want to give you a number and go out of you. And something potentially that could go to a good relationship. Or if you're in a nightclub, or if you're in a hotel, it's like guys would say, how do you ask a woman that in a 5-star hotel? I know the answer to that question because I've done it. It's no different. It's the same everywhere. You're basically, look, when you're on the street, right? I'm in a house now. There's walls around me. You're just outside and there's no walls. So it's just psychological. It's just the way that we box things in our society, like how to speak to someone in the park versus when most of it is really just about being yourself and adapting your social skills to that situation. But I find I can say the same thing on the street to a woman as I would in Starbucks or at a family gathering, wedding, bar mitzvah, church, even in the church, and it's going to get the same outcome, a positive outcome, because those things are in place: confidence, social skills, honesty, respect for women and yourself. There we go. Bob's your uncle. Like, share, subscribe. I hope that wakes some of you up and transforms your relationships so you can get a relationship with women and be able to speak in any situation with real class.